What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin. As you can tell from the title of today's video, we're going to be talking about my 4 favorite players in NFL history. Now, if you know me, I'm a big football fan. I've been watching the NFL for at least 15 years now. I'm a massive New England Patriots fan, so you already know I've had some success as a fan, to say the least. And yeah, I'm just really passionate about football. I play fantasy football all the time, and I do make bets. Now, granted, I might not win every bet, but that still does not stop me from watching the game. So without further ado, let's jump into the first player that we got today, and that is primetime Deion Sanders. As you can see, I am wearing his Atlanta Falcons jersey from his rookie season back in 1989. Now, if you don't know who Deion Sanders is, in my opinion, he's the greatest defensive player to ever do it. It might be controversial, it might be biased, but no, to me, I think Deion Sanders might be the most talented defender that we have ever seen in football. He's definitely the most athletic defender ever as well. I think he could cover anyone on his day. Now, I could talk all day about Deion Sanders, but how about we take a look at some of the clips that he had in his career so they could speak for themselves. Now, Deion back in his day was an 8-time Pro Bowler. That is very impressive. And in the 90s, he won 2 Super Bowls back to back with the Dallas Cowboys. In 1994, he also won Defensive Player of the Year. Now, Deion, to me, is the best defensive player of all time. So, with that being said, he is the defensive back to ever do it by far. He was electric. He had that swagger on the field. I don't think we'll see a player quite like Deion ever again. You know, sticking to just his athletic ability, he also did play baseball, which I think is pretty funny as well. He was pretty good at that too. So yeah, Deion was the Flash, and to me, no wide receiver in NFL history can beat Deion one-on-one. I think if Sanders played today, he would be at least a top 5 player in the league, and I think without a doubt, he would be winning Super Bowls. Granted, I hope it won't be with Atlanta because I do hate Atlanta. I can't lie to you. I only have this jersey because I just am a big fan of Deion. So I think, yeah, Deion Sanders, electric. I wish I got to see him play week in, week out, but I was just after his time. But yeah, truly one of the best football players of all time. And I think his style and swagger definitely influenced this generation of football players that we do see every day. But yeah, so moving on from Deion Sanders, I think, as much as I like this jersey, I think it is time for a change of scenery because we're not talking about Deion Sanders anymore. As a matter of fact, we're talking about another athletic player, and to me, could be a big call, but he is the best wide receiver of all time. So who are we talking about? Well, let me put on one of his jerseys and we'll find out. Oh yeah, that's better. So if you guys don't even know who this is Patriots legend Randy Moss, pretty much the NFL legend himself, because to me, he's the greatest wide receiver of all time. And now you guys might be thinking, oh, well, of course you have a Patriots jersey, he's better on the Vikings. Well, no, we come prepared. I do have a Minnesota Vikings Randy Moss jersey from his rookie season. We got it right there. And yeah, Randy Moss is one of my favorite players of all time. Like I mentioned, he did start off on the Vikings, spent a good part of his career there, and he really did hit it off from the start. In his rookie season, he did lead the league in touchdowns. I think that is impressive. To me, it is the best rookie season of all time, no questions asked. Eventually down the line, he did join my New England Patriots, and in 2007, that was kind of the first year that I started watching football as well. So sadly, if you do know about this 2007 New England Patriots team, we did not win the Super Bowl, but that is okay because Randy Moss to me is still a legend. He's the best wide receiver of all time. Might be biased, but that's just that's my take on it. So just like we did with Deion, without further ado, let's play some Randy Moss clips that really tell his story. Randy Moss would finish his career with 982 receptions, 15,292 receiving yards, and 156 receiving touchdowns. He was a 6-time Pro Bowler, and he led the league in receiving touchdowns 5 times. He had one of the best individual seasons in NFL history back in 2007 with my New England Patriots, as he set the single season record of receiving touchdowns with 23. Randy Moss was electric and, to me, the most talented wide receiver in NFL history. He is one of the fastest players that I've ever seen, and I really don't think any cornerback could cover him in his prime. Now, we did see him play for teams like the New England Patriots and the Minnesota Vikings, and during those times with those 2 teams specifically, he was electric. I don't think today we will see an NFL player at the receiver position that will be quite as talented as Randy Moss. Now, with all that being said, in today's NFL, we see guys like Tyreek Hill, Davante Adams, and DeAndre Hopkins running that receiver position. And yeah, granted, those guys are good, but I think Randy Moss is on another level. I don't think any of these new generation players, as good as they are, will really touch the prime that is Randy Moss. And yeah, I think on that note, let's move on to another wide receiver. You might be thinking, who is this? Well, this player is still playing in the NFL today, and that is peak you know, he's arguably better than Moss. No, I don't think he's quite better than Randy Moss at his peak, in all honesty. But his numbers don't lie, and this player is still playing, like I mentioned, and I think his legacy is only going to grow. And yeah, you know what? I might have his jersey in my closet, so let me go get that right now. Yep, so coming up next, we got another number 81. As you can see, I'm wearing a Tampa Bay Buccaneers jersey. This is Antonio Brown. Now, Antonio Brown was more famous while he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, which we will get into, but I do have his Tampa Bay Buccaneers jersey from when they just won the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, in my family, there are Steelers fans, as my dad is a big Steelers fan, but I'm a Patriots fan, so obviously it's a little rivalry there between the AFC teams. So growing up, with that being said, I did watch a lot of Steelers games. You know, back in the 2000s, saw a lot of Hines Ward, the bust, Jerome Bettis. You know, and I'll never forget when Santonio Holmes made that Super Bowl catch in the corner against Arizona. Shout out to my friend Baines because yeah, it's a tough moment for him. But yeah, so with that being said, Antonio Brown was a Pittsburgh Steelers legend. You know, in the first 5 years of his career, if you look at the stats, his stats are better than the likes of Jerry Rice and Randy Moss. So that does speak for itself. And you know, amazing off the line. He has amazing feet. You know, he runs the best routes you'll ever see. I feel like, well, maybe not the best routes you'll ever see, but definitely up there. You know, his nickname's Tony Toe Taps because he always stays in bounds. And yeah, he has that ability to just catch a ball like no one else I think I've ever seen in my lifetime. So yeah, Antonio Brown, he's definitely one of my favorites of all time. You know, he is a rapper as well. You know, he has some bangers like Whole Lot of Money and Home from the NO. And yeah, one thing that I really like about Antonio Brown is that he has a big friendship with a certain quarterback who, I don't know, maybe we'll talk about that quarterback later on in the video. But because of that, I did see Antonio Brown play one game with the New England Patriots, which is my team, of course. And in that game against the Miami Dolphins, he did score a touchdown, so that was pretty cool to me. But because of some other issues, his run with the Patriots did not last very long, which you know is very sad to me. But halfway through last season, he was signed by the Bucks, and yeah, he helped them win the Super Bowl. I was very happy because in that game he did catch a touchdown against Chief safety Tyrann Mathieu, and I hate Tyrann Mathieu. You know, to be fair, he's a great player, but you know, I just don't like him that much. So when AB did that, I was very happy. And yeah, so you know, like Moss, like Dion, I think we should take a look at AB just so you guys can understand how great he is at playing football. And like I did mention, he's still playing at a very high level. And who knows? I'm not saying AB is gonna go down as the greatest to ever do it, but for me, he's already top 5 of all time. And I think if he adds maybe a couple more Super Bowls, the argument could be there, but for sure top 5. So with that being said, let's get into some Antonio Brown clips right now. Antonio Brown is a 7-time Pro Bowler and he has led the league in receptions and receiving yards twice. He has also led the league in receiving touchdowns at least once, and he was a member of the 2010's All NFL team. AB has had 6 seasons with 100 receptions and 1,200 yards, which is the same amount as Randy Moss and Jerry Rice combined. AB in his prime is arguably the best wide receiver of all time in terms of number and output because his stand alone at the top. Some off the field issues saw Antonio Brown's time with the Patriots cut short, so that did really make me sad. But he did bounce back and he did sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so I was really happy with that. And I really think he elevates the Bucks because with Antonio Brown out there on the gridiron, I think he makes their offense that much better. Now they do have a lot of weapons such as Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, but Antonio Brown stands alone at the top. I don't think in my generation there will be a better wide receiver. You know, I'm not really going to count Randy Moss in that question because he's more of the old generation than the new one. But, you know, you got guys like Julio Jones, he's a great player. He's not better than AB. You got guys like Tyreek Hill, who's, you know, really fast, not better than Antonio Brown. And you also got other guys these days, you know, like Justin Jefferson, you know, second-year player, amazing player. He has a great potential, but he's just not better than Antonio Brown. So I think AB is definitely the best wide receiver of my generation. I got the privilege to watch all of his prime in the 2010s, and now going to the 2020s, no, has not been stopping because the Bucks just won the Super Bowl. So I think Antonio Brown, 2020s, I don't know how much longer he's going to play for because he is getting up there in age. However, I think more Super Bowls are to come for Mr. Whole Lot of Money. So that being said, we covered Deion Sanders, we covered Randy Moss, we just covered AB. How we move on to my favorite player in NFL history. Now, you might see him by the thumbnail, or you might just know who it is because you know him in real life. This player has countless accolades, the most Super Bowls of all time, and quite frankly, he is my idol. So without further ado, let's change out of this Buccaneer jersey and, well, maybe to another. Right, that's more like it. Right now, we're wearing the GOAT, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., or Tom Brady just for short. You know, no surprise here. Tom Brady's my favorite NFL player of all time. He's my idol. He's my favorite athlete to ever do it. I've been supporting Tom Brady since about 2007 now. You know, it was rough at first because I remember us losing to the Giants twice. You know, let's just get this out of the way. I remember, I'll never forget crying when we lost in 2012 to the New York Giants. It was very sad because I really wanted us to win, but it was okay. But yeah, I am the biggest Tom Brady fan I think you'll ever meet. I have his Buccaneers jersey here, and I wanted to show off some more things I got. Got this Patriots hat because of Brady. More hats, you know, have this Bucks hat, which I do wear all the time, and this Patriots hat, which is pretty nice. Shout out to my mom for buying this for me. I also got a couple more jerseys. You know, I got this Tampa Bay Buccaneers jersey right here. This is one of my favorite jerseys that I own. It's an amazing jersey. And then this one does not fit me anymore because I'm not in grade 6. But shout out to my mom. She got this for me in grade 6. My New England Patriots Tom Brady jersey. This was the first NFL jersey that I ever owned. So shout out to my mom for that one. But yeah, I mean, every NFL fan has probably heard about this guy countless times because he's probably beaten their favorite team. You know, shout out to Bills Mafia because Tom Brady owns you guys. And yeah, you know, without further ado, I'll put on some clips and yeah, let's get into it. Tom Brady's a 7-time Super Bowl champion. He's a 5-time Super Bowl MVP, a 3-time regular season MVP, and he's just the greatest to ever do it on the NFL field. He has the most passing yards of all time. He has the most passing touchdowns of all time, and he has the most playoff passing touchdowns ever as well. So this guy is really just it. You know, he's been playing the NFL longer than I've been alive, which is crazy to think about considering I'm 19. You know, he spent a good part of his career in New England, as everyone knows. Won 6 Super Bowls with the Patriots. You know, he was the last person to go back to back because no team has gone back to back since the 2003, 2004 Patriots. And yeah, I just love Tom Brady so much. You know, what more can I say, man? He's the greatest to ever do it. You know, nothing to me will ever beat that comeback against Atlanta. To me, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen in any sport in my history. Also, with that being said, he left the Patriots and won a Super Bowl in his first year with the Buccaneers. And in my opinion, like, it might be a big call, but that might be the best Super Bowl run of all time. You know, he had to beat the Washington football team, who had a pretty good defense. Then he beat the New Orleans Saints, led by Drew Brees. He retired Drew Brees, actually. Then he beat Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau Field, and then went to the Super Bowl and beat Patrick Mahomes, who's apparently, you know, the next greatest player of all time, which I think is cap, and I'm so happy that Brady put an end to them. But yeah, Tom Brady, my idol, has 7 Super Bowls. He's been to 10, you know, probably should have 10 Super Bowls, not gonna lie, but we got cheated by the refs and all that stuff, so don't get me wrong about that. But yeah, man, I love Tom Brady. You saw all the memorabilia I have of him. I wear this jersey all the time. And if you know me, you know I don't like to shut up about Tom Brady. So I could probably make an hour-long video series about Tom Brady where I do probably 100 episodes, an hour each, about how great he is. So for that reason, I won't keep you guys here any longer. But yeah, so that's going to conclude it. So overall, my 4 favorite players of all time. You know, we got primetime Deion Sanders, we got Randy Moss, we got Antonio Brown, and the GOAT, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. So I just want to give a quick thank you to everyone who made it this far. That's going to do it for this episode. And yeah, stay tuned for more content on my channel. I hope everyone has a good one. And also check the link in the description and follow my Instagram for continued support. So thank you guys so much and have a good one.